We have gone live as normal. If you're watching me, pop a comment up so that I know whether we've gone live on Facebook or YouTube. And I forgot to put, oh, I've done it again, wrong hand, I do it every time. So, how's everyone's week been? Can you believe it's a whole week since we were last doing this? I don't know where the time goes. I often joke and say that we're on the real life Truman Show and somebody's speeding up my week. So, I thought today we would carry on a little bit from last week's Facebook Live. So, last week, those of you that missed it, you can catch it on our, either go to our Facebook page, go to our website, or go to our YouTube page, and you can catch up on what we did last week, which was a quick demo on how to make some of the vellum flowers. So, I'm carrying on with what we did last week. Hello, Tracy. Hello, Marie. See, you didn't miss it at all. Hi, Carol. So it looks like we're available on both. Hi, Sarah. Glad you booked me in for your diary. So we're going to carry on and make a card with those flowers that we made last week. Some of you that have done our workshops will have made a similar version of this way back when we first started them. Hello, Sharon. Hello, Debbie. Hello, Pat. Hello, Tracy. Yeah, I think I've caught everybody. So I thought today we would carry on with that. Let me know what you think. Carol, you've joined us. Right, so let's have a look. So we're going to take this off, and flip this around here. So again, we're going to be using the trio of flowers. At the end of the video, I'll go through all the different flowers that we have so you can have a look. Hi, Marie. Right. So, as you may or may not know, Trio of Flowers was the first stamp I ever designed. And it's still one of our most popular. So, I hope you don't mind. We're going back to using that one. And on time, Carol. I know. Check you out. What are you going to watch when you go to bed tonight? If you haven't got me to watch, that's a bit sad. Though it's a bit of a running joke with Carol because she let us know that when we do Facebook Lives when she can't sleep, she watches us to go to sleep. So back to what we're talking about. Trio of Flowers stamp, and this one does have an outline die as well. Lorraine, the sun's shining here too. Can you believe it? I don't know how long for. It's starting to get a bit cloudy out there, but it is sunshine at the moment. We are also using Welcome, Jules. In Arizona at the minute visiting my daughter. Oh, how lovely. Very nice. So we've got Versamark ink. We're going to be using the white embossing powder. Those of you that watched last week will notice I forgot to use my anti-static bag, but we will have an anti-static bag. We also will be using our sticky glue. Again, at the moment, it's still only available in our larger size. It should be back with us very shortly. It's very strange working in this office at the moment. On the second floor, and all these big tractors and things keep going past. And I keep seeing all these strange, wonderful things going across the window. Hi, Linda. So we're using our cardstock, the super smooth cardstock that we have, which is either 250 or 300 GSM. We're also using our heavier weight acetate, and that is a 250 GSM. And we are going to be using the vellum. Now, I am going to run through it really super quick, just to make one flower. Oh, I haven't quite finished, have I? We'll be using the blending brushes, both sizes. And the colours I'm using for today, just because I'm carrying on from last week, was the picked raspberry and the twisted citron, because we're going to be using the flowers we made last week. So pop this to one side. Oh, that's the one bit I haven't got yet, is somewhere where I can pop my bits to one side. So I've still got to work that bit out. You're going to see them back in shot again for a minute, because I need to move something to be able to pop them to one side. It's a little bit of a mismatch at the moment, but we'll get there. We'll work out how this is going to work. That's now moved. and I can put those to one side. Right, so these were the flowers we made last week. All I've done is add a pearl centre in there. And if you notice, this was actually the one we put together last week. This is the ones I've put together today. This one's slightly lighter, so I'll make sure that one's in the middle, just because I was silly and didn't check the colour, how heavy I'd gone. You've still got the box frame on the wall. If you still got it, Jan, post a picture on our Facebook page. And Val, if you are watching, I did receive your email. I just haven't had time to go through it and tell you how to post yourself and put yours on there. We use the trio of flowers to make a box frame. So Carol, if you have still got it available, take a picture and pop it on our Facebook page on the Be Inspired. So you are going to need an 8x8 card. We are also using a piece of our heavyweight acetate, and that is cut to 5 inches wide by 7¼ inches long. You are also going to need 2 pieces of white cardstock in 2.5 by 7.5 and 2 in 2.25 by 4.25. So we're going to take our card base. Pop my flowers out of the way for a moment. Grab my trimmer. So, don't ask me why, and I'm added talking to myself when I did the final measurements and wrote these down and thought, why on earth did I do that? But I obviously did it for a reason, so we'll roll with it. Hi Marianne. So we are going to put our card base in our cutter, and I'm going to take the spine to 2 7/8. I know you love me, don't you? 2 7/8. So you're going to just leave a section on here. I am really sorry, but as you all know, we've been having problems with our connection between the phone and the... Okay, fingers crossed that didn't freeze us. It might have done. We've been having a problem between the connection between the phone and the iPad, which are both needed to do our videos. And if somebody rings in, it continues to ring. If I put the Do Not Disturb on, I don't get to see your comments. So we just have to go with the lesser of two evils at the moment. I promise I'm working on it. So as I said, 2 7/8. Cut that chunk off, which seems sacrilege, doesn't it? So you've just got a little flap attached. Then you're going to take this piece and cut yourself a piece which is 2 7/8. I don't know why I did it, so don't ask me that question. Carol, hopefully I've not frozen anymore. Can you please let me know? Hi Pat from Australia. Oh, how lovely. I'm jealous of all these people. Although you're going into winter now, we're going into summer, which is quite nice. As long as it's not a tinkle Lorraine. Fingers crossed. So Carol, let me know if I've frozen on you. So you will end up with a flap that's free and a flap that's not. This is the flap that's should be the two sizes the same. Yeah, Carol, the reason I froze on you is because somebody phoned in while I was filming it. And as you might have missed, I can't do it as a Do Not Disturb, because if I do, then we lose the comments coming through. So we've got a piece of acetate. Now the piece of acetate has been made a bit bigger so that we can hide how we stick it down on here. If that makes some sense. Fingers crossed it does. So the flaps are going to be glued down and hidden under here. Now I'm not going to do that yet because I want to ink around these. So just so that you know, that's why we're a bit random with the sizing. If you want to, you can make it the whole size of the front. The only reason I've made mine slightly shorter, which fingers crossed is not going to give us a problem when we go to stand it up, I don't think it will, is because I've made this the same size. Let me just show you. Made this the same size height-wise as our layers. So our layers will go on, and this piece, fingers crossed, will go on here, and it kind of hides the seam of your acetate. I don't know if that's going to pick it up on the camera, but hopefully it will make sense when we get to it. And try not to touch your acetate too much, because you pick up all the little bits that were around. Right, that's the hard bit done. So I've talked about inking around this, so we may as well do that first, just to get that piece out of the way. Oh, wrong one, that's my extra juicy one. I want this one first. I'm going to come back and show you the flowers in a minute. I thought we'd just get the base of the card together, and then we know how much time we've got. So I don't want too much ink on here. So I'm just going to ink around the edge of that piece that we've chopped off. And again, I'm not going too heavy with it, just a light coverage. And then use up that extra ink that you've picked up and then wiped off on your craft mat to continue to do that. Now I'm going to fold my flap back and very lightly go along that spine. Be careful going along the spine, because you can sometimes get quite heavy where it's a bit thicker cardstock along the edge. Jan Mum's a lot better, thank you very much, apart from the fact that she decided to throw herself halfway down the stairs the other day. Yeah, so she fell the last few steps. Typical Mum, the one day we weren't here. Never mind, she's okay. She's just got a little bit of a bruise, but she was okay. If you can see how that is what I meant by it can get quite dark along the edge. Just be cautious not to get too heavy along the edge, otherwise it will pick up quite strong. I am also then going to open this up and again ink all the way around the edge of this. Just a light coverage, it doesn't have to be particularly heavy, just so that we're bringing everything together. You know what I'm like. Inside of your cards is as important as the outside. We are also going to be using our knitted blanket stencil, which I didn't mention earlier. So we've got the knitted blanket stencil in here. I forgot to get my one out to show you earlier. Now, one thing I would suggest with a card like this, if you're going to use stencils, try and not use one that is too symmetrical. And if I can find it, I will explain what I mean. Okay. So we're going to go to the other bits and pieces now. So if I went with the tartan, and then hang on, I'm going to backtrack for 2 more minutes. Again, on these two of the two pieces of smooth cardstock that are 2.5 by 7.5, we're also going to ink that edge. So if I just do that super quick. Oh, sorry, when I go quick, this stand wobbles a bit more than it should. Can't see who that is that has joined us. David. Hello, David. Oh, while I've got lots of you viewing, if you are at present waiting for a pre-order of stamps or stencils, I apologise. The stamps are due in, hopefully, they should have been here yesterday. They're hoping to be here tomorrow. They are manufacturers of our stamps and stencils. Because we use a UK company, they decided to move buildings over Easter. And they've had a little bit of a hiccup getting the machines back up and running. So if you are also waiting for stencils, they should have been with us on the 11th. We're now on the 18th and we're a bit behind. So we did say that the stencils would probably be out to you on the 22nd. It may be a couple of days after that. We are hoping to have them in before then, but please bear with us. I will be in contact with as many of you as I can in the next few days about all of this. Right, so we're now going to take our magnetic board, and as I said, I've got the knitted blanket stencil, and we're going to position this. Now, what I was saying about having the tartan stencil, or anything that was symmetrical, you've got to make sure that this panel and this panel, so the two panels that are going to be on either side of your card, are done exactly the same, because being slightly out on that, you would notice it quite dramatically when you came to putting your card together. So try and avoid one that's got a symmetrical pattern to it. So I have gone with our knitted blanket. I am still quite a straight line person on this, so I do line my grid up and put my stencil on the grid, so that hopefully it's fairly straight when we come to take this off. Now I'm going to go quite heavy-handed with it on here, purely because I want you to be able to see what we're doing, and for the colour to come through. You don't have to go as heavy with the colour as I'm doing here, but this is purely because I wanted you to be able to see what we're doing. I very rarely watch these videos back because I don't like listening to myself, so I'm not sure which colours show up better than others on here. I know that the yellow, when I do the yellow, in front of me looks so heavy, but when I do TV or do the Facebooks, it doesn't seem to be as strong a colour as it is in front of me. So we just pop the ink on there. And stencils is a great way to practice your blending and your technique and how heavy a colour you get on there. So just lifting two off. As I said, it's a lot heavier than I would probably do it myself, but as I say, I want you to be able to see what we're doing. So again, I'm going to line that one up so we're as straight as possible, and then we're going to take our stencil. Remember, avoid the symmetrical ones. I think I may have frozen again. Can you believe it? I haven't had a single phone call all day, bar one, and now everybody's ringing me. I had the lovely Angela ring me, and she's trying to get online with us today. She hasn't commented, so I'm not sure if she's made it. She was struggling to get on here, so fingers crossed she has. So again, we're just inking that through that stencil. And if you haven't got one of these boards, or you're waiting to get one of these boards, they have been out of stock for ages. We're just waiting for our suppliers to get them back in stock, and then we will have them back in stock. So just check what I've done. Yep, happy with that. And I'm going to take that off. Now I have purposefully not cleaned this off yet, because if I tuck this out of the way, I am then going to take my card base. I better wipe this off really quick. Next week I think I'm going to do a few backgroundy type techniques, maybe see what you think to that, and show you. Somebody asked me last week, I think it was Emily, asked me what I did with the back, about making flowers with the background papers that I pick up from what's on here. So I might try and do that next week. Not promising. Depends how my week goes. It's been bonkers. And we're in Hull this weekend for a Ross Papercraft show. So if you are in that area, please feel free to come and say hello. So I am literally taking this stencil, and I'm not. I could use my magnetic board. In fact, I probably should. I'll be good. I was going to try and freehand it, but you know that's always going to go wrong. And I'm just going to pop, I only want a little bit along the edge. So remember, I'm not going to go too close to the edge because I don't want that hard line to come in. And I'm just going to use the ink that was already on the stencil left over from what we were just doing to just pick up that pattern and take it through the card. funny enough, I did get quite a straight line there, but it wasn't aimed to get a straight line. That's just how it was. I will certainly try and do some more demos with the mica powders. Teresa, definitely. Right. So now have our card base done and our layers done. And this is our other piece that we chopped off. So first of all, I'm going to stick the acetate down. So I'm going to pop a little bit of glue on just, it helps if I've not blocked my glue up. Just going to pop a little bit of glue along my edge. And position that on the card. Hopefully fairly level and about roughly where my layers are going to go. As I said, it's not as wide. We may find that this needs to be longer, but I was trying my hardest to sort of hide the workings of all of this. One of the ways around it might be, so we're going to pop our layers on. And then if I can find any. So remember, we've inked all the edges as we've gone. So we've got slightly lighter on the base, and then it's got slightly darker as we've gone along. So this layer isn't the match with the base of the acetate. This layer is a match with this one. I was going to say we might be able to hide it by popping these on some foam pads, which might also work, but that should take the illusion that once the card's open, takes the illusion and you can't see the connection so much. But there's lots of different tricks and ways of doing this, but it's just a way of popping your acetate on there and not actually seeing how it's all been put together. So we have got, so far, a card base. You could do it this way up if you would like to. That's entirely your choice. I know you can't really tell, but you get my idea. So we can be up this way or up this way. So I'm going to go upright on this one. And I'm going to, now you can either go straight down the middle, which is quite cool, but you will see your flower stuck on the back. You can go off to the side, which I think I'm going to do that this time just for a change, because I do normally go all the way down the middle, but I think that might be quite cool for it, just for a change, to put them slightly off. As I said, I'm going to go back and show you a really brief recap on the flowers in a few minutes. So we'll just pop some glue on the back and our flowers in place. Somebody on the Facebook group, no, Julie, I always use glue on my acetate. I think maybe it's because I pop it under lots of different layers. You don't have to use red liner tape. If you're trying to use it to put a box together, then you need red liner tape to make a box out of it, I would suggest. But no, I definitely use glue on all of my acetates. It's never been a problem. This flower wants to come with me and not stay where I want it to be. Oh my goodness, it's pinged off again. I think it's quite a full one, so, and then we'll put this one down here. So we'll just hold these two in place for a few moments, and hopefully this time it won't come with me. It is, it's coming with me again. Being a monkey. And this one, my gem's coming with me. Good grief. What is going on? Now I've just seen what's going on. My petal is a little tight and it's picking itself up off there. There we go, I think that's us down. So I've also done some leaves, and this is what I used the twisted citron for. Again, we'll run over that really quickly in a few minutes. But literally I've cut them out and then I've just taken a kebab stick and just curled it. I am going to just curl this end quite tight around, just because that gives me something to stick the petal. That is come away again, look. No more glue, Amanda, just hold it. If I was sticking to acetate, I wouldn't mind, but I'm not, I'm sticking card. See, these two have stuck completely fast. Random, hey? So this just gives me a little bit of a layer. I am going to argue with that flower in a minute. Just to stick those leaves down underneath those flowers. It's really giving me a time of it. Fingers crossed that's it. Oh, for goodness sake. That wasn't the flower, that was just a petal this time. I think we might be there. Good grief. Have you ever known such a thing? Flower with attitude. So I'm just popping those on, and I'm making sure that when I glue these, they're not seen through on the other side of the acetate. Just remember that when you are putting your card together, if you are doing it on acetate and you're going to stick it down the centre, you will be able to see those flowers on the back, the workings of those flowers on the back. So keep that as clean and tidy as you can as well. So all of these flowers were made with exactly the same size. And thank the Lord that one seems to have lost the battle. Now it's going to argue where I can put my petal, my leaves. I will call these petals today. Everything is trying to me today, because Martin, I've just heard him drive away to go. He's got an appointment he had to go to, and now I can hear the dog barking in the garden. Don't you just love it today? She's just going to have to keep barking. Proper little madam. You probably can hear her because she has a very shrill bark. So, oh, dear Lord. It's my magnetic charm. It must be today, Lorraine. It's good grief. It's not playing at all, is it? That's what happens when you use self-adhesive gems. I should have put some glue on them as well. There we go. So that is the base of the card put together. Now we do need to put a sentiment on this. So somebody asked me, I think I was mentioning earlier, about wedding cards. This would make a really nice wedding card, I think. So I am going to use Celebrate Your Day on here. From the new releases, which is from our birthday sentiment stamp set. It's not birthday sentiment stamp set at all, it's from our sentiments stamp set. I probably should have done this before I put the card all together. Now it's up to you. If I pop this in the centre here, it's going to get seen. I'm actually going to pop it in this bottom corner, or you could go across the side here. Just remember that wherever you position, you can put it in the middle, but you're not going to see the full sentiment if you go with that one. That is probably why she's screaming and shouting, David. She thinks she's been left on her own. So I'm going to pop that roughly so it's just hiding behind. So give myself a rough idea of where we are. Grab my Versamark. She's really going for it out there. I think we're about there. To be honest, if we're slightly over, I apologise, but it's not the end of the world. And white embossing powder. Blimey, half an hour gone already. This Facebook Live thing, YouTube Live thing, goes by so fast. I don't know about all of you, but it just flies by when I'm doing this. All the prep to get to it, and then it's gone. I have done it in white, so as I say, it doesn't matter if it doesn't, if it does sneak out from behind, but fingers crossed it won't. It's actually quite difficult to see it in the white. Maybe I should have gone with a pink. I'm shooting to get it done a little bit quicker for you. In fact, it's almost impossible to see it in the white. So there's a trick, a learning curve for you. I am going to be really brave. Don't know how good this is going to be, but we'll give it a go. Now, those of you that do or do not know, I'm a bit of a monkey, and if I'm going to use Distress Oxides for a sentiment or to make it something look a little darker, I will pop a little bit of Versamark on there first. I don't know if this is going to work. We're going to give it a go. It's called Winging It now. It has landed where it has landed, and hopefully you'll be able to see it. Oh, wasn't too far off. I have literally stamped that on top of my embossing powder, which is probably not what you should be doing. I am going to go in with some crystal clear over the top of that, which will hopefully make that pop a little bit more. As I say, this is what you call winging it. Nothing runs smoothly, does it? I think it's time I gave myself a new pot of embossing powder. I do too. I'm doing it on top just to make that a little bit quicker. But actually that makes it quite funky. I'm going to come in a bit closer to the camera so that you can see. I quite like that effect. See? It looks like you've shadowed it. I think I've missed a bit of the powder there. Just quickly whip that over. So, that is our card complete. You could even, if you wanted to, take your stencil through the middle to tie it all together. I just quite liked it off the side and leaving this completely white at the front. Again, it's completely your choice. They're your cards. These are just ideas on some of the things you can do with them. So let me know what you think. Ah, Teresa, it was you asking after the wedding cards, was it? Brave. I don't know if that's brave, Carol. I think it might be stupid. Hey, we're all amongst friends now, aren't we? So yeah, there we go. It would, I think, Teresa, that would make quite a nice little card. You would need to pop it in a box because obviously you've got quite a bit of dimension here, but I'm assuming if you're sending a wedding card, most people send the cards when they're attending the wedding, don't they, or are going to the wedding. So yeah, it'd be quite nice to have something a little bit different. So I am going to quickly run over how we made those flowers again, really super fast, because obviously quite a few of you saw this last week, and if you didn't, you can go back and watch some other ones. Jules, I'm glad you like that. Right, so I'm going to cheat and get two. No, we don't need the leaves. So, okay, so making the flowers, we've got a piece of vellum, and I have got the Versamark ink. Lots of little light taps all over, and I am going to stamp this out. Now, again, if you were watching last week, you will have heard me say that when you are stamping onto vellum with Versamark, you can get 2, maybe 3, and sometimes 4 images out of one inking up of your stamp. Because vellum is now synthetic, it is kind of like a plasticky type feel to it. It means that you can, the ink doesn't soak into the vellum quite the same as it does into cardstock, so it gives you a little bit more versatility. Now that is where I would suggest you use your anti-static bag, because vellum will pick up your finger marks, the oils off your skin, any dampness that's around, it will pick it up, and the embossing powder will stick to wherever that is. So as you can see, we've done, ooh, do you know that happens with the white nearly every time, and it goes right through me. So we're going to heat these up. Now, a couple of things. Heating vellum, always hold it in the air. This is not heat resistant vellum. If you use heat resistant vellum, it won't curl. It will initially curl, but will spring back to its natural form of flat. That is designed to go through a printer, and the heat from the printer not to curl it. So you don't want to use printable vellum. And with these flowers, don't overheat them. Don't be tempted to go back and just give them one more quick wipe over, just to make sure with the heat gun that it's all done. The more you heat them, the more powder will crack off as you are manipulating them. So let's get started. I am going to heat from above because I do find that it is quicker, and obviously the quickest way you can heat this embossing powder is the best for making these flowers. So break my rules, and I heat from above when I'm doing the vellum flowers. And that's how quick they come together. I am just making sure I haven't missed the corner at the top there. That's my mum's tray. But I haven't been tempted to go all over them. Stop and have a look at the colour and make sure that the powder's all gone, has it all turned, but don't go all over it again just to check. You're then going to turn them over, and you're going to take your ink and just rub it on the back. You don't have to cover the whole thing. You can just do parts of it. You can do it in multicolours. You can do whatever you like. You don't have to make it heavy. You can make it as light as you want. As you can see, this one's heavier than this one. It's just completely random, and that's the hardest bit about making these flowers, is being random with your colouring. I'm not going to cut them all out. I'm just going to show you. So we're going to go in and cut this out. If you're not great at cutting out, don't panic. It's not the end of the world. I do need to tell you though, when we're cutting these out, we're going to go into this centre circle. If you do have the die to go with this, the die will stop on the outside edge here. It will stop here. You do not, it's not been designed to cut all the way down, so you will have to go in and snip that. And I think, Annie, you might have to watch us back because you've missed the card. We're just doing a little bit of a run over on what we did last week, because the card involved what we did last week. So as I said, we're just cutting into here. And if you're not great at cutting out, I'll come out wider here just to sort of show you. If you give yourself a little bit of an edge as you go around the petals, I haven't done it on all of them, but I will on this one. People aren't going to see how well you cut it out. They're going to look at the vellum. It's a trick on the eye, and it takes the white on, takes your eye to the white of the vellum and not how well you've cut the shape out. If you go in too close and you're not particularly good at cutting out, I will bring the camera in and show you what I mean. And you're not very good at cutting out, it can stand out, but you don't have to be perfect at cutting out whatever. So this petal here, I came right in at the white line. These 2.5 petals, I didn't. Oh, gone out of focus a bit, bear with me, let's come in a bit slower. Can you see around the edge of that we've still got the white and the vellum? I don't know, oh, have we got anything that's black that might make that show up a bit better? Does that show up a little bit better? You can still see that the vellum is on the edge of there. I haven't come right in as I have on this one. That way round might be. Can you see? So we've got the vellum here still. So that's a little trick to get round not being the best at cutting out if that's something that you're not hugely confident with. So once we've cut in right to the edge, see that it gives you a lot more movement on your petals. So I'm going to take a kebab stick, I'm going to go to the side of the petal and I'm just going to wrap that around it. Everybody's gone quiet. Annie, it's been quite an eventful one today. Everybody kept trying to ring me. So I have to ring all these lovely people back afterwards. So once you've done that, you're going to pop it in your hand, give it a poke and a wiggle. I am kind of holding it, but I'm not crushing it. And the heat from your hand will allow the petals to stand up. And then you get huge dimension on your flowers. So that's how they're done. Now, 2 or 3 layers will give you the flowers we've just used. They were 3 layers. The trio of flowers, I've also got a couple of other different ones that we've used, different ways we've used them and the different sizes. So there's so much you can do with this. And Carol, I think you mentioned, yeah, you did mention earlier on that you have got your box frame still on your wall. And I think you said you've popped a picture on the Inspired page. So go and have a look there. I definitely have found the old pictures that I had from when we did those box frames over the weekend. So I'm going to post up some of those pictures. Hopefully the ladies that did them don't mind. If you don't want yours up there, please give me a shout. But that's just a really rough idea on how to do this. So if I pop those off to one side, I am going to just grab, look, this is my big basket of flowers, look, that Mum's made. So we have got buttercup blooms. This one is fun flowers. We've got vintage flowers, springtime blooms, starry eye, another fun flowers, and another fun flowers. They've been done like a little fuchsia. So there are so many different things. We've got the little bouquet I showed you last week with the starry eye. It's easy. There's a long video to watch. We're at what, 42 minutes. So there's so many different ones, and I did say that I would go through some of the oh, I can't pick them up. I've got so many here. Some of the other flowers that we do. So let's quickly run those through again as well. So we've got springtime blooms. We've got vintage flowers. We've got floral elements. We've got floral discovery. We've got spring flowers. We have got a floral enchantment. Flowers in the garden. Buttercup blooms. Flowers for design. Fleur. Fun Flowers, Wild Rose. Now all of those never have or no longer have outline dies. These ones still have outline dies. So we have Starry Eye that comes with the outline die. We have Stars and Stripes that also comes with an outline die. We've got Carnation, and again, if you want to see how the carnations are made, pop back and look at some of our videos on YouTube. We did a very brief on it on Facebook last week when we did the Facebook YouTube lives last week. But there is also a video on Facebook if you go quite a way back. And I think I did the carnations right at the start of when we started these Facebook lives each week. So then we've got Little Lilies and Leaves, which also still only just has outline dies, and then Stitch in Time. This is quite a fun one because it's got quite a lot of detail in the petals. So they're all the different flowers that we have. And obviously there will be more coming along because it wouldn't be Honeydew Crafts if there wasn't. Look at the mess I've got going on this table now. I'll clear it out of the way. So yeah, that's our finished card. Really simple way of making the card, but a really cute way of using those flowers. We get asked so much, well, I've made them, what am I going to do with them? As you can see, I've got a huge box, so I can go and grab them whenever I need a flower. But I think this is a really, really nice little card. And you could theme this, Teresa, to the colour of the wedding. So if you know the bride well enough, you can ask the colours and you can put it all together as well. So that would be really nice. What was I going to grab? Just so that you know that we've used it. That's what I needed. So let's recap, shall we? So we've used the Stencil, was our knitted blanket. We've used Versamark ink, white embossing powder, the anti-static bag. Remember, use that on your vellum to stop the fingerprints and on your acetate if you're going to be handling it too much. We've used Trio of Flowers stamp, and there is an outline die if you don't like cutting out. We've obviously used the blending brushes in the large and the small. We've used the vellum, which we have Honeydew Crafts vellum for flowers, and we have got the heavier cardstock, 250 heavier weight, 250 GSM acetate. It's kind of like a bit like a construction one. And then we've also got our super smooth cardstock, which comes in the 250 or the 300 GSM, and our glue. The colours I used on this card were Picked Raspberry and Twisted Citron. To colour in the flowers, you can use absolutely... Do you want to see me again? There you go. There we go. To colour in the flowers, you can use absolutely any inks that you've got. I wouldn't recommend using Distress inks because they don't ever dry. Oh. I think I might be freezing again because somebody's trying to call me again. Hopefully that's that call gone. Sorry about all the freezing on here. I've really got to get this sussed because I can't work like that. Yeah, so you can use whatever inks you want. I wouldn't use the Distress inks because they never dry on the vellum. And I would also try and veer away from the mementos because they dry too fast. So completely one extreme to the other. But you can use anything. Anything that you've got, you can use. I've now got a creaky chair as well. What a day today, hey? So if anybody's got anything else that they would really like me to work with, give me a shout. I think it was Teresa asked me if I could do a bit more with the mica powders, so we'll look at doing that as well. But please just give me a shout. I know a few of you have asked for gilding flakes as well, so it is on the radar. I've just got to find the time to put the prep together to do it. My weeks are getting shorter and shorter. So I hope you've all enjoyed this Facebook Live. Please like, share everything with us so that lots more people get to join us. The more people come in, the more people ask questions, the more information we can get out there to you. I try and get in as much info as we can, but obviously trying to do all of that and remember what I've got to do and talk to everybody as well can get a bit difficult. So please feel free to pop any questions up as we're going along. So you can have a look on our website. We've got honeydewcrafts.co.uk and you can see all of our products. they're all available on there. You can also pop on there and see all of the videos. Now, a few people were struggling watching back the lives, because on YouTube it was coming up under the lives and not under videos, and it was confusing you. So we are trying our best to move them all over so they'll be on our website and on YouTube, regular videos as well as the live ones. Until then, if you want to pop along onto our YouTube channel and watch them, along the very top where it says videos live isn't me doing it live, it's a video of the lives as well as when I'm doing this. I think that's where I come up as well. So that's enough of me waffling. We will see you all again next Wednesday. Believe it or not, I'll be a whole year older by then. So have a lovely week, and we'll see you again next Wednesday, 2 p.m, Facebook and YouTube live with Honeydew Garden.